My beloved child, listen closely to me now. There are moments in life when time feels heavy, when every second seems to press against your chest, and you whisper to yourself, I don't know how much longer I can hold on. This is one of those moments. You feel it, don't you? The urgency. The quiet fear that something must change soon, or you will be swallowed by the weight of what you are carrying. I want you to know this first truth before anything else settles in your heart. You are not here by accident, and this moment is not random. Few minutes left does not mean destruction is coming. It means revelation has arrived. It means the fog is thinning, and what you could not see before is about to become clear. I have watched you wrestle with choices, replay conversations in your mind, and stare at the ceiling late at night, asking questions you were too tired to speak out loud. You wondered if there was still a way out, or if every door had quietly closed while you weren't looking. I heard those thoughts. I felt every tear you held back. And I brought you here because I am revealing something you have been waiting for, even if you didn't know how to ask for it. You feel trapped, not always by your surroundings, but by your thoughts, your past, and the pressure to figure everything out right now. The clock seems loud, the silence uncomfortable. Others may not see it, but I see the tension in your spirit. I see how you've been surviving instead of living, enduring instead of breathing freely. And still, you kept going. Still, you woke up. Still, you tried. That alone tells me something powerful about you. Hear me clearly, my child. When I say I have revealed your only way out, I am not speaking of panic or escape. I am speaking of truth. I am speaking of a path that begins right here, in this moment, with your heart open enough to listen. The way out is not behind you, and it is not hidden in someone else's approval or understanding. It is not found in rushing, fixing, or forcing what is broken. The way out begins when you realize you are not abandoned, not cornered, and not running out of hope. You think you have only a few minutes left because you are tired of being strong, because pretending has drained you, because holding everything together has cost you more than you admit. But I tell you this with unwavering love. I do my greatest work when you think there is no time left. I step in when human strength fades. I speak when the noise finally quiets enough for you to hear me. So stay with me. Do not rush past this moment. Let your heart slow down. What I am about to reveal is not loud, but it is powerful. It is not complicated, but it is life-giving. And it will lead you out, not into fear, but into peace. My beloved child, I see the pressure you are under, even the kind you never speak about. I see the way your shoulders tighten when you wake up, already tired before the day has even begun. I see how your mind races ahead, calculating risks, imagining outcomes, preparing for disappointment before it even arrives. You have been carrying more than you were meant to carry, and you have been doing it quietly, telling yourself that you must stay strong, that others depend on you, that there is no room to fall apart. But hear me now. Strength was never meant to look like silence. Endurance was never meant to feel like isolation. I see how you smile when you need to cry, how you say I'm fine when your spirit feels bruised and worn. You learned to survive by holding everything inside, by becoming your own shelter in storms that lasted too long. And while others may have mistaken your calm for peace, I know the truth. I know how heavy your heart has been. There are moments when you feel trapped, not because you lack options, but because every option feels risky. You worry that one wrong step could cost you everything. You replay the past, wondering where things shifted, where the pressure began to pile up. Sometimes you blame yourself, believing you should have known better, acted faster, spoken sooner. Other times you blame the world, the circumstances, the people who did show up when you needed them most. I am here to tell you this gently. You are not failing. You are fatigued. I see the invisible battles, the decisions that keep you awake, the responsibilities that weigh on you like a constant ache. You feel as though you must always be alert, always prepared, because if you relax for even a moment, everything might fall apart. That kind of pressure slowly convinces you that rest is dangerous and trust is a risk. But that is not the truth I placed within you. My child, I have never asked you to carry the future alone. I have never required you to have all the answers before taking the next step. Yet you have been living as if everything depends on you, as if one misstep would undo your entire life. That belief has tightened its grip around your heart, making even small decisions feel overwhelming. And still, you keep going. Still, you show up. Still, you try to protect everyone else from the weight you are carrying. I want you to know this. I am not disappointed in you. I am not standing back, waiting for you to collapse so I can say you should have trusted me sooner. I am closer than you think, watching carefully, patiently, lovingly. The pressure you feel does not scare me. The confusion you carry does not push me away. The questions you are afraid to ask do not offend me. I am not threatened by your weakness. I meet you there. There is a reason you feel stretched so thin. You have been pouring out without being refilled. You have been giving strength while neglecting rest, offering patience while ignoring your own need for comfort. Over time, that creates a quiet desperation, a sense that something must give soon. That is why this moment matters. That is why I am speaking to you now. You do not need to pretend with me. You do not need to explain yourself or justify how tired you are. I already know. Let me say this clearly so it settles deep within you. You are allowed to need help. You are allowed to pause. You are allowed to admit that this has been hard. None of that disqualifies you. None of that diminishes who you are. Breathe with me for a moment. Feel the truth of my presence near you. The pressure you feel is not the end of you. It is a signal that you were never meant to carry this alone. And as we continue, I will show you how to loosen that grip, how to release what has been crushing your spirit, and how to step forward without fear. Stay with me, my beloved child. I am not finished speaking to your heart. My beloved child, hear me now with a quiet heart. This moment you are in is not a coincidence. Out of all the voices you could be listening to, out of all the distractions pulling at your attention, you are here. Alone tells you something sacred is unfolding. I have guided your steps gently, patiently, even when you thought you were wandering without direction. I arranged this meeting because your spirit is ready to hear what your mind hath been struggling to understand. You may have told yourself that this message simply appeared, that you clicked without thinking, that it was chance or curiosity. But I tell you the truth, nothing about this moment is random. I saw the heaviness pressing on you, the quiet questions you have been asking when no one else was around. I saw the crossroads you are standing at, unsure which way to turn, afraid of making the wrong move. And I chose this moment to reach you, not because you are running out of time, but because you are running out of strength trying to do everything alone. There are times when I wait until the last possible moment, not to frighten you, but to strip away every false source of security you've been leaning on. When options disappear, when answers fail, when control slips through your fingers, that is often when your heart finally opens fully to me. You thought the delay meant absence. In truth, it meant preparation. I was clearing the noise so you could hear me clearly now. I want you to understand something important. You are not late. You have not missed your chance. You are not being punished. You are being invited. Invited to see that the way out does not come from frantic effort or endless overthinking, but from alignment with me. The urgency you feel is not meant to drive you into panic. It is meant to wake you up to what truly matters. My child, I know how tempting it is to scroll past moments like this, to treat them as just another voice among many. But deep down, you sense that this one is different. Something within you feels seen, named, understood. That is my spirit bearing witness to your heart. That is how you know this is not coincidence, but connection. If these words are bringing clarity where there was confusion, peace where there was tension, then do not keep this moment to yourself. This message was never meant for you alone. If your spirit feels stirred, I ask you to bless this message with a like, and hype this video so it can reach other hearts who feel just as trapped and just as tired as you once did. Share this message with 3 souls who need this same reminder that they are not alone, and that there is still a way out. And if you desire to remain close to these moments of restoration, subscribe to this space, so my words can continue to meet you right where you are. Now listen carefully, my beloved child. The reason this moment feels urgent is because something inside you is ready to shift. Old patterns are loosening. Old fears are losing their grip. You are standing at the edge of a realization that will change how you move forward. I am not asking you to rush. I am asking you to trust what is unfolding right now. I am revealing the way out gently, piece by piece, so you are not overwhelmed. You do not need to understand everything at once. You only need to stay present, to stay open, to stay with me. As long as you remain here, listening with your heart, you will not be led into confusion. You will be led into clarity. You are not forgotten in the crowd. You are not invisible to me. You are not too broken to be guided. This moment proves that I am actively involved in your life, even when you couldn't see it. And as we continue, I will show you why this timing is perfect, why this encounter matters, and how the way out I am revealing will bring you not just escape, but peace. My beloved child, hear me as I speak to your willingness to help others. As you receive this light, remember that light was never meant to be hidden. When you choose to support this work through Super Thanks, membership, or PayPal, you are sowing seeds that become lifelines for weary souls across the world. I say to you now, what you release into my work, I will multiply back to you in ways you cannot measure. This is not a donation. It is a divine response, a moment of obedience that opens rivers where drought once lived. The PayPal giving link is waiting for you in the description and in the QR code on this video. Do not delay what your spirit feels prompted to do. I bless every gift you release, and I declare that what you place in my hands will return to you pressed down, overflowing, and full of life. Obey now, and let this message keep reaching those who are still searching for their way out. My beloved child, there is something I want you to see clearly now. Many of the places you have called dead ends were never meant to stop you. They were meant to slow you down long enough for your eyes to adjust. Fear has a way of convincing you that walls are permanent, that limits are final, that what you see is all there is. But fear does not tell the truth. It only tells the loudest story in the room. You have stood before situations that felt sealed shut, conversations that went nowhere, efforts that seemed wasted, doors that would not open no matter how many times you knocked. Over time, disappointment whispered to you, saying, "This is it. There is no way through." And because you were tired, because you had already tried so hard, you believed it. You mistook resistance for rejection. You mistook delay for denial. Let me tell you a story, my child. There was once a traveler who reached what looked like a solid stone wall at the end of a long road. Exhausted and discouraged, he sat down and wept, believing the journey was over. But what he could not see in his weariness was that the wall was actually a door, designed to open only when leaned on with trust rather than pushed with force. The more he fought it, the more immovable it seemed. When he finally rested against it, surrendering his strength, it opened quietly, almost gently. This is how many illusions of dead ends work in your life. You push with effort. You strain with worry. You demand answers. And the harder you push, the more stuck you feel. Not because there is no way out, but because the way out does not respond to fear-driven force. It responds to trust. You have been measuring your future by what you can see right now. But what you see is limited by where you are standing. A wall from one angle is a doorway from another. An ending from one season is a beginning from the next. I have watched you turn around too soon, walk away convinced there was nothing more, simply because the path did not unfold the way you expected. My beloved child, I need you to understand this deeply. Not every closed door is a sign to retreat. Some are invitations to pause, to listen, to approach differently. Some doors open inward, not outward. Some paths reveal themselves only when you stop running ahead and allow me to guide your steps. You are not foolish for feeling discouraged. You are human. Pain narrows vision. Repeated disappointment trains the heart to expect loss. Over time, hope feels risky, and you protect yourself by assuming the worst. But I am gently restoring your sight. I am teaching you how to look again, without the lens of fear. What if the situation you think has trapped you is actually positioning you? What if the pressure you feel is not crushing you but aligning you? You see walls because you are standing close to change. You feel resistance because you are near something that matters. If there were truly no way forward, there would be no tension. Resistance often appears right before revelation. I am asking you to loosen your grip on the story you have been telling yourself. The one that says, I'm stuck. The one that says this is as far as I go. Those are conclusions drawn from exhaustion, not truth. I have not brought you this far to abandon you in front of an illusion. Stand still for a moment with me. Look again, but this time, do not scan for escape routes born of fear. Look for quiet openings born of trust. Look for peace instead of panic. Look for guidance instead of control. The way out I am revealing does not shout. It does not rush. It waits patiently for you to stop fighting shadows. My child, there is more space around you than you realize. There is movement where you assume stagnation. There is hope where you labeled finality. And as you continue to listen, I will help you distinguish between real boundaries and imagined ones. I will show you how to walk through what once looked impossible, not with force, but with faith. Stay close to me. The wall is not the end. It is the place where your understanding is about to open. My beloved child, there is a quiet fear you have carried that I want to lift from you now. It is the fear that I am late. The fear that if I truly cared, I would have intervened sooner. You look back over the timeline of your life and circle moments where you think everything could have been different if help had arrived earlier. You wonder why you had to struggle for so long, why relief did not come when you first cried out, why answers seemed delayed while your strength was fading. Hear me clearly. I am not late. I have never been late. Time does not bind me the way it binds you. What feels like delay to you hath been purpose unfolding with precision you could not yet see. I know that is hard to accept when you are tired, when the waiting has cost you sleep, peace, and confidence. But I need you to trust this truth, not with your logic, but with your heart. You measured progress by visible change, by immediate relief, by doors swinging open quickly. When that did not happen, you assumed absence. You assumed neglect. You assumed you were overlooked. But while you were watching the clock, I was working beneath the surface, strengthening what could not yet be seen. Roots grow in darkness before anything breaks through the ground. If growth were rushed, it would collapse under its own weight. My child, had I answered you earlier in the way you wanted, you would have been spared discomfort, but you would not have been prepared for what is coming. You asked me for peace, but first I needed to teach you how to release control. You asked me for freedom, but first I needed to loosen the attachments that would have followed you into that freedom and pulled you back. You asked me for clarity, but first I needed to quiet the noise around you so my voice would not be drowned out. I know there were moments you felt abandoned. Moments when you questioned my nearness, my care, even my existence. I did not turn away from those doubts. I stayed. I stayed when you were angry. I stayed when you were numb. I stayed when you stopped asking and simply endured. Love does not leave because it is questioned. Love remains until trust can be rebuilt. You think of time as something lost, something wasted, something you will never get back. But I do not waste anything. Every season you endured has shaped you, softened you, strengthened you in ways you will soon recognize. What you learned in the waiting will protect you in the next chapter. What you survived will become wisdom you carry forward. Nothing you went through was meaningless. I want you to see something now. The very moment you thought I was too late is often the moment I was setting the stage for something irreversible. When help arrives at the last moment, it leaves no room for confusion about the source. You will not mistake what I am about to do for coincidence or luck. You will know it was me, and that knowing will anchor you when new challenges come. My beloved child, I am gentle, but I am precise. I arrive when your heart is ready to receive what your hands cannot force. If I had stepped in earlier, you might have relied on solutions instead of relationship. You might have trusted outcomes instead of me. I desire more for you than temporary relief. I desire transformation. Release the resentment you have been holding toward the timeline. Release the belief that you are behind. You are exactly where you need to be to hear me, to trust me, to walk with me. There is no race you are losing. There is no opportunity you have permanently missed. What is meant for you is not fragile. It cannot be ruined by waiting. As we move forward together, you will begin to see how every delay protected you, how every closed door redirected you, how every silent season refined you. You will look back and understand that I was never absent. I was building something within you that could not be rushed. So rest in this truth, my child. I am not late. I am present. And what I am bringing into your life now will arrive at exactly the right moment, with exactly the right weight of grace to carry you forward in peace. My beloved child, I want you to acknowledge something you have been trying to ignore. The weight you have been carrying has become heavy not because you are weak, but because it was never meant to be carried alone. You have been holding responsibilities, expectations, memories, and fears all at once, telling yourself that if you just push a little harder, everything will eventually settle. But instead of settling, the weight has been pressing deeper into your spirit. I see how tired you are, not just physically, but in the quiet places of your heart where no one else looks. I see the way exhaustion has blurred your joy, how even good moments feel muted because you are already bracing for what comes next. You move through your days doing what must be done, but inside, something feels drained. You wonder when rest will come, when relief will arrive, when you will finally feel light again. You have been strong for so long that you forgot what it feels like to be held. You learned to keep going even when your soul asked for pause. You learned to function while hurting, to smile while aching, to reassure others while your own reassurance was running low. Over time, that kind of strength becomes a burden of its own. It convinces you that laying anything down is failure, that needing help is weakness. But hear me, my child. Carrying everything alone is not courage. It is survival. And survival, while necessary for a season, was never meant to be your permanent state. I did not create you to live weighed down, constantly bracing for impact. I created you to move freely, to breathe deeply, to walk in peace even when life is uncertain. The weight you feel is not punishment. It is a signal that something must be released. Some of what you carry belongs to the past. Regrets you replay. Words spoken over you that you accepted as truth. Guilt you never allowed yourself to lay down. Some of it belongs to the future. Worries that have not happened yet. Fears of loss, failure, or rejection that live only in imagination. And some of it was never yours to carry at all. Expectations placed on you by others. Roles you stepped into out of obligation rather than calling. I am not asking you to drop everything at once. I am asking you to begin. To place the weight back into my hands, piece by piece. You do not have to explain it perfectly. You do not have to untangle it neatly. You only need to be willing. My beloved child, I am not disappointed that you are tired. I am concerned because you have been carrying what I already offered to carry for you. I have been walking beside you this entire time, waiting for you to notice that you do not have to do this alone. I do not stand above you demanding more effort. I stand with you, offering rest. There is a difference between responsibility and burden. Responsibility is guided by purpose and supported by grace. Burden crushes, isolates, and drains. If something is crushing you, isolating you, draining the life from you, it is not meant to stay on your shoulders. I will help you discern the difference as we continue. You may be afraid to let go because you do not know who you will be without the weight. It has shaped your identity for so long. But I promise you this, you will not disappear when you lay it down. You will emerge, lighter, clearer, more yourself than you have been in a long time. Rest is not something you must earn. Relief is not a reward for perfect endurance. They are gifts given freely when you trust me enough to receive them. Let your breath slow. Let your grip loosen. You do not have to prove anything to me. Stay with me, my child. We are not running. We are releasing. And as the weight begins to lift, you will start to feel something you have not felt in a while. Space. Space to heal. Space to hope. Space to walk forward without fear pressing on your chest. I am here, and I am strong enough to carry what you cannot. My beloved child, now I reveal something gentle, yet powerful. The only way out you have been searching for is not more effort, not more planning, not more strength drawn from a place already exhausted. The way out is trust. And I know that word feels heavy to you, because trust has cost you before. You trusted and were disappointed. You trusted and were left waiting. You trusted and felt foolish for hoping again. So you guarded your heart, telling yourself that control was safer than surrender. But hear me with an open spirit. Trust is not asking you to pretend you are not afraid. Trust is choosing to place your fear in my hands instead of letting it rule you. Trust is not blind optimism. It is a quiet decision to lean into me when you cannot see the next step clearly. You have been trying to solve everything from the outside in, adjusting circumstances, replaying conversations, anticipating every possible outcome so you won't be caught off guard again. That constant vigilance has worn you down. It has made peace feel fragile, as if it could break at any moment. Trust works differently. Trust begins on the inside. It softens the heart first, and then it changes how you move through the world. Let me paint this picture for you. A small child does not understand the full path ahead. They do not know where the road leads or how long the journey will be. But when they place their hand in their father's hand, the unknown loses its power. The child does not need to know every turn. They only need to know they are held. This is the trust I am inviting you into. My beloved child, surrender does not mean giving up. It means giving over. It means acknowledging that you were never meant to carry the weight of outcomes, only the responsibility of obedience. You have been exhausted because you have tried to be both the traveler and the guide. I am asking you to let me lead. Trust feels risky because it requires vulnerability. It requires you to admit that you do not have all the answers, that you cannot guarantee how everything will unfold. But control has not given you peace either. Control has only kept you tense, alert, and tired. Trust offers rest, even before circumstances change. You worry that if you stop pushing, everything will fall apart. But what if the opposite is true? What if the reason things feel so fragile is because they are being held together by your strain instead of my strength? I am steady. I do not tire. I do not lose focus. When you trust me, you are not stepping into uncertainty. You are stepping into consistency. Trust is built moment by moment. It begins with small releases. Choosing not to replay that thought again. Choosing to pause before reacting. Choosing to believe that I am working even when you cannot see evidence yet. Each small act of trust loosens fear's grip on your heart. My child, I know you are afraid of disappointment. You are afraid that if you hope again, it will hurt more if things do not change. But withholding trust has been hurting you too. It has closed your heart and narrowed your world. Trust opens space for peace to enter, regardless of outcomes. I am not asking you to trust people who have broken your heart. I am not asking you to trust circumstances that feel unstable. I am asking you to trust me. I am not unpredictable. I am not careless with your heart. I am not unaware of your pain. I have walked with you through every season, even the ones you wish you could forget. The way out is not behind you. It is not hidden in perfect timing or flawless decisions. It is right here, in this moment, as you choose to loosen your grip and place your hand in mine. Trust does not remove challenges instantly, but it changes how you face them. It replaces panic with peace. It replaces isolation with connection. Stay with me, my beloved child. You do not have to master trust today. You only have to begin. And as you take each step with me, you will find that the path you feared was uncertain is actually supported, guided, and filled with a peace that does not depend on what happens next. My beloved child, there were seasons when you searched for me and felt nothing in return. You prayed, you hoped, you waited, and the silence felt heavier than any answer. In those moments, you wondered if I had stepped away, if I had turned my face from you, or if you had done something to lose my nearness. The quiet frightened you because it made you feel alone in your struggle. But listen to me now. When you could not see me, I was still there. When you could not feel me, I was still near. My presence is not measured by sensation. Love does not vanish because it is unseen. A shepherd does not abandon the flock simply because the night grows dark. He watches more closely then, You walked through nights where faith felt fragile, where your prayers felt like echoes falling back to the ground. You assumed silence meant absence. But often, silence is the space where trust grows deepest. I was teaching your heart to listen beyond emotion, to lean into truth even when feelings wavered. I saw you look for signs everywhere, hoping for reassurance that you were not forgotten. Sometimes you found none, and that hurt deeply. But there were small protections you did not notice. Delays that kept you from harm. Closed doors that spared you deeper pain. Strength that surfaced when you should have collapsed. Those were not accidents. Those were my hands steadying you when you could not see them. My beloved child, darkness does not cancel my presence. It reveals it. Stars are only visible when the sky is dark. In the same way, my guidance often becomes clearer in the very seasons you feel most lost. You learned resilience in those moments. You learned compassion. You learned how to keep going even when certainty was absent. Those lessons were not meant to harden you, but to prepare you. I know there were nights you cried quietly, asking why relief had not come, why answers were delayed, why others seemed to move forward while you remained stuck. I did not turn away from those tears. I collected them. Every unspoken ache mattered to me. Every whispered doubt was heard. I was never offended by your honesty. I welcomed it. You thought you were walking alone because you could not feel me guiding you step by step. But there are paths where guidance looks like protection rather than direction. I was keeping you from dangers you did not see, from choices that would have cost you more than you were ready to lose. I was shaping your character, deepening your roots, strengthening your spirit quietly. My child, faith is not proven when everything makes sense. Faith is formed when you continue forward despite not understanding. You did that. Even when your confidence wavered, you kept moving. Even when your heart felt tired, you did not give up entirely. That tells me more about you than any perfect prayer ever could. I want you to release the belief that silence means abandonment. Release the fear that you were forgotten. Release the thought that you failed because you questioned. I am not fragile. I am not distant. I am not easily lost. I am steady, present, and patient beyond measure. As you listen now, let this truth settle into you. I have been with you in every season, even the ones you wished to erase. I was there in the waiting rooms of your life, in the pauses between prayers and answers, in the moments you thought nothing was happening. Something was always happening. Growth was happening. Preparation was happening. Healing was happening beneath the surface. You are not behind. You are not disqualified. You are not alone. The silence did not mean I left. It meant I was working in ways you would one day understand. And now, as you stand here listening, that understanding is beginning to unfold. Stay close to me, my beloved child. You do not have to fear the quiet anymore. You do not have to panic when you cannot feel me. I am with you always, watching, guiding, and holding you steady, even when the path grows dark. My beloved child, I want you to know something that may surprise you. You are closer than you think. Closer to relief. Closer to clarity. Closer to the shift you have been longing for. The reason it has felt so far away is because exhaustion distorts distance. When you are tired, every step feels longer, every hill feels steeper, every answer feels delayed. But that does not mean progress has stopped. You have been measuring closeness by dramatic change, by visible breakthroughs, by sudden relief. When those did not appear, you assumed you were still far from the answer. But progress often moves quietly. It moves beneath the surface, strengthening foundations before revealing results. What you thought was stagnation was actually preparation. Look back for a moment, not with regret, but with honesty. Notice how you respond differently now than you did before. Notice how some fears no longer control you the way they once did. Notice how your discernment has sharpened, how your boundaries have grown, how your awareness has deepened. These are not small things. They are signs that you are moving forward, even if the scenery has not changed yet. My child, there is a temptation to believe that closeness means ease, that if you were truly near to your breakthrough, things would already feel lighter. But often, the final stretch feels the heaviest. Muscles burn near the finish line. Focus sharpens. Every step demands intention. That does not mean you are failing. It means you are close. You have been overlooking small signs because you expected something dramatic. But I speak through subtle shifts. A conversation that nudges your thinking. A sense of peace that interrupts your anxiety. A sudden clarity about what no longer serves you. These moments are not random. They are markers along the path, guiding you forward. My beloved child, I know impatience has whispered lies to you. It told you that if nothing has changed yet, nothing will. It told you that you are wasting time, that hope is naive, that expecting good will only lead to disappointment. But impatience speaks from fear, not truth. It rushes because it is afraid of waiting. It demands certainty because it does not trust process. I am teaching you to see differently, to recognize progress even when it does not arrive with noise or spectacle. The work happening inside you is more important than immediate changes around you. You are learning how to carry peace before circumstances improve. You are learning how to trust before evidence appears. These lessons will sustain you far beyond this season. You may feel tempted to give up because you are tired of waiting. But hear me gently. Do not stop now. Do not turn back because you cannot yet see the full picture. If you could see what I see, you would understand how near you are to what you have been asking for. You would understand why the timing matters, why the preparation was necessary, why the path narrowed before it opened. My child, closeness is not always visible. Sometimes it is felt as tension, as pressure, as the sense that something is about to change but hasn't yet. That feeling you have, the one that says something is shifting, is not imagination. It is awareness. It is your spirit recognizing that you are standing near a turning point. I want you to stay present. Do not rush ahead in your mind, trying to predict outcomes. Do not retreat into the past, replaying old fears. Stay here, with me in this moment. This is where clarity lies. This is where peace is accessible. This is where guidance becomes clear. You are not far from the way out. You are not wandering in circles. You are not repeating old mistakes without progress. You are walking a path that requires patience, courage, and trust. And you have already demonstrated all three, even when you doubted yourself. My beloved child, take another breath. Let hope rise again, not as fragile optimism, but as quiet confidence. You are closer than you think. And as we continue, I will help you recognize the next step when it appears, so you can move forward without fear, knowing you are guided, supported, and never alone. My beloved child, I want to speak to you about something you have been doing without even realizing it. You have been fighting alone. Not because you wanted to, but because somewhere along the way you learned that relying on others led to disappointment. You learned that asking for help sometimes came with conditions, judgment, or silence. So you adapted. You became self-sufficient. You learned how to carry your pain quietly and your responsibilities bravely. But hear me now with clarity and gentleness. You were never meant to fight alone. Independence can look like strength, but isolation solely drains the soul. You have been standing in battles that required partnership, telling yourself you must endure them by yourself. That belief has kept you tense, alert, and weary. I see how you brace yourself before challenges arrive, how you prepare for the worst so you will not be caught off guard again, how you keep your guard up even in moments meant for rest. You tell yourself it is safer this way, but safety without connection becomes a prison. Protection without trust becomes a burden. My beloved child, I am not asking you to expose your heart to those who have wounded you. I am not asking you to depend on fragile systems or unreliable promises. I am asking you to stop excluding me from the center of your struggle. You have invited me into your thoughts, but not always into your decisions. You have spoken to me in moments of desperation, but not always walked with me in moments of uncertainty. Partnership with me does not remove responsibility. It redefines it. When you walk with me, you are no longer responsible for carrying outcomes, only obedience. You are no longer responsible for fixing everything, only for listening and responding. That shift alone can release so much pressure from your heart. You have been gripping control tightly because letting go feels dangerous. But control has not brought you peace. It has only kept you exhausted. Trusting me does not mean chaos will follow. It means order will return. I see further than you do. I understand what you cannot yet see. When you allow me to lead, you are not stepping into uncertainty. You are stepping into guidance. There is a quiet relief that comes when you stop fighting alone. It is the relief of knowing you are not the only one responsible for the next step. It is the relief of realizing that even if you stumble, you will not fall beyond my reach. I do not watch from a distance. I walk beside you. My child, you do not need to prove your strength to me. I already know it. I see it in the way you survived seasons that should have broken you. I see it in the way you kept going even when hope felt thin. Now I am inviting you to experience a different kind of strength. The strength that comes from shared burden. The strength that comes from divine partnership. If these words are resonating with your spirit, do not keep this moment to yourself. Hype this video so it can reach others who are still fighting alone, thinking they must carry everything by themselves. Bless this message with a like so it can travel farther than your own reach. Share it with someone you know is exhausted, someone who needs to hear that they are not meant to struggle in isolation. And subscribe to this space, my child, so you can continue receiving reminders that you are never alone in what you face. As we move forward, I will show you how to walk in this partnership daily, how to recognize when you are slipping back into isolation, how to pause, breathe, and invite me back into the center. You do not have to master this overnight. You only have to be willing. Stay with me. Let me fight with you. Let me carry what you cannot. Together, we will move forward, not with strain and fear, but with peace and trust guiding every step. My beloved child, what you are receiving here is not meant to stop with you. When you choose to support this work, you become part of a river that carries hope into dry places. I speak to you now as I once declared, give, and it shall be given unto you, not as obligation, but as living promise. This is your moment to sow into souls who are still fighting alone, still searching for their way out. I am stirring your heart now. Do not ignore that prompting. You super thanks, membership, or the PayPal link in the description and QR code to release what I place in your hand. I bless your obedience, and I declare that what you give in faith will return to you in peace, provision, and purpose. Act now, and let this light keep reaching further than you ever could on your own. My beloved child, there is something I want you to understand about the doors you have been trying to open. Many of them were never meant to be forced from the outside. You have pushed, pleaded, planned, and worried, wondering why progress felt impossible. You questioned your effort, your timing, even your worth. But the resistance you felt was not because you were unqualified. It was because you were approaching the door from the wrong side. The door opens from the inside. You have been waiting for circumstances to change before allowing your heart to change. You told yourself that peace would come after clarity, that confidence would come after certainty, that rest would come after resolution. But that order keeps you trapped in waiting. I am inviting you into a different way of moving forward. The shift begins within you, and when it does, the external world responds. My child, alignment always precedes movement. When your heart is aligned with truth, when your thoughts settle into trust, when your spirit stops bracing for disappointment, doors that once felt immovable begin to respond. Not because the world suddenly becomes kind, but because you are no longer fighting from fear. You have underestimated the power of your inner posture. You believed you needed permission, validation, or perfect conditions before stepping forward. But the permission you are seeking has already been given. The authority to move has been placed within you. I have been waiting for you to realize that the key is not outside of you. It is formed in trust, courage, and obedience. Let me explain this gently. When you approach life from fear, every obstacle feels personal. Every delay feels like rejection. Every closed door feels like proof that you are not meant to proceed. But when you approach life from alignment, you can stand before the same obstacle with peace. You can wait without panic. You can knock without desperation. That calm changes everything. You have been knocking with trembling hands, afraid of the answer. You have been standing before doors while already rehearsing disappointment. That inner conflict keeps the door closed, not because I am withholding, but because fear clouds your discernment. You miss the subtle openings. You overlook the quiet invitations. The door opens when you decide to trust me more than your fear. It opens when you choose obedience over comfort. It opens when you stop asking, "What if this fails?" and begin asking, "What if I am guided?" That shift happens inside you first. My beloved child, courage is not loud. It does not always look like bold action. Sometimes courage is simply choosing to believe that you are allowed to move forward. Sometimes courage is resting when you want to rush. Sometimes courage is saying no to what drains you so you can say yes to what gives life. I have been watching you wait for signs, waiting for certainty, waiting for reassurance that you will not be hurt again. But certainty is rarely given before movement. It is revealed along the way. You do not need to see the entire path. You only need to take the next step with me. The inside work you have been avoiding is the very work that unlocks progress. Releasing resentment, letting go of self-blame, forgiving yourself for not knowing what you know now. These are not small things. They are keys. And when they turn, doors respond. My child, I am not rushing you. I am inviting you. I am inviting you to stop standing outside, pressing your face against the glass, wishing for change. Step inside. Let your heart align with truth. Let your spirit settle into trust. Let your thoughts rest in my guidance. When you do, you will notice something shift. The same door that once felt heavy will feel lighter. The same opportunity that once felt intimidating will feel possible. Not because the world changed overnight, but because you did. Stay with me. The door is not locked against you. It is waiting for you to open it from within. My beloved child, I want to quiet the fear that rises in you whenever you think about what comes next. The future has felt like a heavy fog, filled with unanswered questions and imagined risks. You wonder what will happen when you finally move forward, when you take the step you've been postponing, when change becomes unavoidable. You worry about whether you will be ready, whether you will have the strength, the wisdom, or the courage required when the moment arrives. That uncertainty has held you still longer than you intended. Listen to me now with a softened heart. I have already gone ahead of you. You are not standing on the edge of something uncharted. You are standing at the entrance of a path I have already walked. Before you ever felt the weight of this decision, I saw it clearly. Before the questions formed in your mind, I knew the answers you would need. Before you felt afraid of what might happen, I had already prepared what will sustain you. You are not being led into confusion. You are being led into something carefully arranged. My beloved child, I know you have been trying to prepare yourself for every possible outcome. You thought that if you could anticipate every challenge, you could protect yourself from pain or failure. But that kind of preparation has drained you. It has kept your mind busy but your heart restless. You cannot live fully today while carrying tomorrow's worries. That weight was never meant for you. I give strength in portions, not all at once. I give clarity when it is needed, not before. I give grace at the moment of requirement, not in advance. If I revealed everything ahead of time, you would not walk by trust, and trust is where peace is born. You are not behind because you do not know everything yet. You are exactly where you need to be. I have gone ahead of you to prepare spaces you have not yet entered, conversations you have not yet had, and opportunities you have not yet recognized. I have softened hearts you fear may resist you. I have aligned circumstances you could never control. What looks uncertain to you has already been accounted for by me. You have imagined the future as a place where you might be overwhelmed or exposed. But the future I am leading you into is not a trap. It is a place of growth, and growth is always subordinate. I do not call my children forward only to abandon them when the path becomes difficult. I remain present, attentive, and involved at every step. My child, you keep asking yourself, what if I am not ready? Let me answer that gently. Readiness is not something you achieve on your own. Readiness is something I supply as you walk. You will not wake up one day suddenly fearless and fully prepared. You will become ready by trusting me one step at a time. Fear tries to disguise itself as caution. It tells you that staying still is wisdom, that waiting longer is safety. But discernment does not come from paralysis. It comes from listening. And I will speak to you when you need direction. You will recognize my guidance not by panic, but by peace. I have already positioned the help you will need. I have already accounted for the obstacles you fear. I have already seen the places where you might stumble, and I have prepared support there as well. You are not walking toward uncertainty. You are walking toward provision that will meet you exactly when you need it. My beloved child, stop trying to solve tomorrow today. Stop carrying questions that are not yet yours to answer. Live where you are. Walk where you are. Trust that when the next step is required, I will make it clear. You will not miss it. I am not subtle when your obedience matters. Let this truth settle deeply in you now. You are not alone at the edge of change. I am already there, waiting for you. And because I have gone ahead of you, you can move forward without fear, without rushing, without carrying the burden of knowing everything in advance. Stay with me. The path ahead is not empty. It is prepared. My beloved child, I want to speak to you about fear, because it had been speaking to you for far too long. Fear has been loud in your thoughts, persuasive in your reasoning, and convincing in its warnings. It has presented itself as protection, as wisdom, as instinct. But fear is not your signal. It is not your guide, and it is not the voice you are meant to follow. Fear rises whenever you stand near growth. It appears when change is close, when movement is required, when staying the same is no longer possible. You assumed fear meant danger, that it was telling you to stop, to retreat, to wait. But often, fear is simply resistance leaving the body. It is the old trying to hold on while the new is being formed. You have mistaken fear for discernment. You thought that because your heart raced, because your mind filled with worst-case scenarios, it meant something was wrong. But fear does not see clearly. Fear exaggerates laws and minimizes grays. Fear only measures what you might lose, never what you might gain. My beloved child, peace is your signal. Not the absence of challenge, but the presence of steadiness beneath it. When I guide you, I do not lead you through panic. Even when the path is unfamiliar, there is a quiet sense of rightness that accompanies my direction. Fear shouts. Peace whispers. And you have been listening to the wrong volume. I know fear well. I know how it tightens your chest, shortens your breath, and convinces you to delay decisions that could set you free. I know how it reminds you of past pain, replaying memories as warnings. Fear says, remember what happened last time. But fear never says, remember who carried you through it. You survived what you thought would destroy you. Not because you were fearless, but because I was faithful. And I am the same now as I was then. Fear wants you to believe that the future will repeat the pain of the past. I want you to understand that the future is not bound by what hurt you before. My child, fear is not prophecy. It does not predict truth. It reacts to uncertainty. When you feel fear rising, do not immediately stop. Pause. Ask yourself what is being threatened. Often, it is not your safety, but your comfort. Often, it is not your well-being, but your familiarity. Fear resists unfamiliar ground, even when that ground is fertile. I am not asking you to eliminate fear. Courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is choosing to listen to me even when fear speaks. Courage is moving forward while your knees tremble, trusting that I will steady you as you walk. And I will. There are moments ahead where fear will attempt to rush you or freeze you. It will tell you that you must decide now or never, or that you should wait forever. But my guidance does not pressure you or paralyze you. My voice brings clarity, not chaos. When something is from me, it aligns with peace, even if it stretches you. You have been asking for a sign, and I am giving you one now. If fear is the loudest voice, wait. If peace remains underneath the fear, proceed slowly with me. Learn to distinguish between noise and knowing. Learn to recognize that discomfort does not equal danger. My beloved child, I am retraining your instincts. You learn to survive by being alert, cautious, and guarded. That kept you alive in seasons of uncertainty. But now I am teaching you how to live, not just endure. Living requires trust. It requires listening beyond fear. When you feel fear rise, do not condemn yourself. Do not assume you are weak. Simply bring it to me. Let me quiet it. Let me show you what is truly being asked of you. I will never guide you into harm. I will never abandon you mid-step. I will never ask you to walk where I have not already gone. Fear is not your signal to stop. It is your signal to listen more closely. And when you listen for me, you will find that even in moments of trembling, You are being led by peace, not panic. Stay with me, my beloved child. You are learning to hear my voice above fear's noise. And that alone is a sign that you are moving forward exactly as you should. My beloved child, I want to touch the place in you that still aches when you think about what you lost. There are moments you replay quietly, moments you believed marked the end of something important. Dreams that slipped through your fingers, relationships that change you or disappear, opportunities that closed when you were not ready to let go. You told yourself, sometimes without words, that this must be where your story broke. But hear me gently now. What you thought was the end was not the end. It was a turning point you could not yet recognize. Loss is a way of convincing the heart that nothing meaningful can grow again. It narrows vision. It whispers that what remains will always be less than what was taken. And because the pain was real, you trusted that voice. You believed that the closing of that chapter defined the rest of your story. But I was never finished with you there. My beloved child, endings often arrive disguised as failures. They feel abrupt, unwanted, and cruel. You did not choose them. You did not prepare for them. They came and left you standing in silence, wondering how everything changed so quickly. But what you call an ending, I often use as a release from what could no longer carry you forward, a release from what would have limited your growth. I know it did not feel that way. I know you grieved not only what you lost, but who you were before the loss. You mourned the version of yourself that still believed things would turn out differently. That grief mattered to me. I did not rush you through it. I stayed with you in it. But now, my child, I want you to lift your eyes from the ground where you stopped. The place where you thought everything ended has become fertile soil. Seeds were planted there that could only grow after something old fell away. What ended might grew. What broke created space. What left prepared you for what could finally arrive. You believed the ending meant disqualification. You believed it meant you were not chosen, not capable, not worthy of continuation. But I tell you the truth. If it truly were the end, you would not still be here longing, breathing, hoping, listening. The very ache you feel is evidence that your story is still alive. My beloved child, dawn always feels impossible in the deepest part of night. Darkness convinces the mind that light is gone forever. But light does not announce itself with force. It returns quietly, steadily, until suddenly you realize you can see again. That is what is happening now. You are beginning to see. The pain you endured has reshaped you, but it has not ruined you. It has refined you. You carry more wisdom now, more compassion, more discernment. You are no longer chasing what drains you. You are no longer ignoring what matters. That growth did not come despite the ending. It came through it. I want you to stop calling that moment the end. Call it the crossing. The place where you left behind what could not follow you. The place where you learned what you truly need. The place where you discovered that even when everything fell apart, you did not disappear. You are standing now in a new chapter, even if it does not feel fully written yet. The page is not blank because nothing is coming. It is blank because I am still writing. And I write slowly, intentionally, lovingly. My beloved child, do not measure your future by what you lost. Measure it by what you are becoming. Do not define your worth by what ended. Define it by the fact that you are still here, still growing, still being called forward. The ending you feared did not destroy your story. It redirected it. And where I am leading you now carries more peace, more depth, and more purpose than what you left behind ever could. Stay with me. What you thought was the end was only the moment your story began to change. My beloved child, come closer now. Slow your breathing. Let the rush inside you settle, even if only for this moment. You have been living at a pace your soul was never meant to sustain. Constant movement, constant thinking, constant pressure to keep going, to keep up, to keep everything from falling apart. And somewhere along the way, you forgot how to rest without guilt. So hear me say this gently and clearly. Breathe, my child. Breathing is not weakness. Pausing is not failure. Stillness is not surrendering your future. Stillness is where your spirit remembers that it is held. You have been treating rest like a luxury you cannot afford, like something you will earn once everything is resolved. But if you wait for everything to be resolved before you rest, you will never rest at all. I see how your mind keeps running even when your body stops. You lie down, but your thoughts keep moving. You sit in silence, but your worries fill the space. You are present physically, but inwardly you are bracing for what comes next. That constant readiness has exhausted you more than you realize. My beloved child, I did not design you to live in survival mode forever. Survival sharpens you for a season, but it is not meant to be your home. Rest is not the absence of responsibility. It is the presence of trust. When you rest, you are not abandoning your life. You are placing it back into my hands. You have been afraid that if you stop, everything will collapse. That fear has kept you tense, alert, unable to soften. But I tell you this with love. The world does not depend on your constant effort. Your life is not held together by your anxiety. It is held together by my care. Breathe, my child. Let your shoulders drop. Let your jaw unclench. You do not have to solve anything right now. You do not have to plan the next step in this moment. You are allowed to exist without fixing. You are allowed to be still without apologizing. There is healing in slowing down. When you move too fast, pain gets buried instead of healed. When you stay busy, wounds stay untouched. But when you pause with me, what has been hiding begins to surface, not to overwhelm you, but to be healed gently. I know you have been afraid of stillness because it leaves you alone with your thoughts. But you are not alone in this stillness. I am here. I am not watching you impatiently. I am not waiting for you to hurry up and move on. I am inviting you to rest in my presence, where nothing needs to be proven. My beloved child, I want you to understand something important. Rest is an act of trust. It says, I believe I am safe enough to stop. It says, I believe I am cared for even when I am not productive. It says, I believe my life is guided, not driven by panic. You have carried so much for so long that your body has learned tension as a language. Calm feels unfamiliar. Peace feels suspicious. But peace is not a threat. It is your natural state when fear loosens its grip. You are not meant to live braced for impact every day of your life. Let me hold this moment for you. Let me quiet the noise. Let me remind your nervous heart that it does not have to stay on guard. I am watching over you. I am attentive. I am present. You do not need to rush ahead to prove your worth. You do not need to replay the past to justify your pain. Right now, you only need to breathe and allow yourself to be held by my presence. Stay here for a moment longer. Let the urgency soften. Let the pressure ease. From this place of rest, clarity will come. From this place of stillness, strength will return. From this place of peace, you will rise again, not frantic, not forced, but steady and renewed. Breathe, my beloved child. I am with you. My beloved child, I want to speak to the quiet place in you that has been waiting for strength to return. You have been telling yourself that once you feel stronger, braver, more confident, then you will move forward. You have been waiting for some clear inner signal that says, now you are ready. But what if I told you that the strength you are waiting for is already alive within you, even now, even in your weariness? You mistook tiredness for emptiness. You believed that because you feel drained, you must have nothing left to give. But exhaustion does not erase strength. It only hides it under layers of pressure and fear. Beneath what feels worn down, there is a resilience that has been forming quietly through every season you have endured. Look back, my child, not to reopen wounds, but to recognize truth. You walked through things you never imagined you could survive. You endured disappointments that changed you. You carried responsibilities that demanded more than you thought you had. Yet you are still here. You are still listening. You are still reaching toward hope instead of surrendering to despair. That alone reveals a strength deeper than you realize. Strength is not always loud. It does not always arrive as confidence or excitement. Sometimes strength looks like persistence. Sometimes it looks like choosing to get up when your heart feels heavy. Sometimes it looks like refusing to let bitterness take root even when you were hurt. That kind of strength does not come from willpower alone. It comes from my presence sustaining you when you felt weakest. You have been waiting to feel strong before you act. But courage is not something you feel first and then follow. Courage is something you practice, and strength meets you in the movement. If you wait for fear to disappear before you move, you will wait forever. Fear fades as trust grows, not the other way around. My beloved child, the strength within you is not self-made. It was placed there. Every time you continued forward when you wanted to stop, I was there. Every time you found the will to keep breathing through the pain, I was there. Every time you chose not to give up completely, even when hope felt faint, that was my strength flowing through you. You have been underestimating yourself because you measured strength by how much you can carry without help. But true strength is not about carrying everything alone. It is about knowing when to lean on me. It is about releasing control instead of tightening your grip. It is about trusting guidance rather than forcing outcomes. There will be moments ahead when fear tries to convince you that you are not equipped for what comes next. It will remind you of your past mistakes, your limitations, your moments of doubt. When that happens, remember this truth: I do not call the already confident. I strengthen those who are willing to trust me. You are not being sent forward unprepared. You are being sent forward aware. Aware of your limits, yes, but also aware that you are not walking alone. You do not need to be fearless. You need to be faithful. Faith is what carries you when confidence wavers. My child, strength grows as you use it, and deepens as you walk. It matures as you trust. What you have been through has not weakened you. It has shaped you. It has softened you where you needed compassion, and strengthened you where you needed endurance. I see a steadiness forming in you now, a quiet resolve that does not rush or panic, a confidence that does not shout, but stands firm. This is the strength you were waiting for, already awake within you. Stay with me, my beloved child. You are stronger than you believe, not because you have never struggled, but because you did not quit. And as we continue, you will learn how to walk in this strength with peace instead of pressure, guided by wisdom and held by my presence every step of the way. My beloved child, there comes a moment when waiting becomes heavier than moving. You are standing in that moment now. You have reflected, rested, healed, and listened. You have uncovered fear, released weight, and rediscovered strength. Now I ask you to do something gentle yet decisive. Choose to step forward. I know that decision feels intimidating. Forward means unfamiliar. Forward means you cannot rely on old patterns anymore. Forward means you must trust what you cannot fully see. And yet, staying where you are has begun to drain you. You feel it in the restlessness that returns even after moments of peace. You feel it in the quiet knowing that this season has taught you what it can, and it is time to move. Stepping forward does not mean rushing. It does not mean forcing outcomes or proving courage. It means saying yes in your heart before everything makes sense. It means aligning your will with mine and trusting that I will guide each step as it comes. You do not need to leap. You only need to step. My beloved child, indecision often disguises itself as patience. But there is a difference between waiting with trust and waiting out of fear. Trust feels calm, open, receptive. Fear feels tense, heavy, delaying. You have done the waiting that was required. Now you are being invited into movement. You worry that if you step forward, you might make a mistake. But mistakes do not frighten me. I can redirect you. I can teach you. I can restore what needs correction. What hinders you more than mistakes is stagnation born of fear. Growth requires movement, even imperfect movement. I am not asking you to abandon wisdom. I am asking you to trust it. Wisdom is not endless hesitation. Wisdom listens, discerns, and then responds. You have listened. You have discerned. Now respond with obedience, even if your voice trembles as you do. My beloved child, there is a window of readiness opening within you. Not because everything is resolved, but because your heart is no longer ruled by fear. You feel the urgency, not as panic, but as invitation. This is not pressure. This is alignment. When you step forward with me, you are not stepping alone. I move with you. I adjust the pace to your strength. I steady you when you waver. I will not let you fall beyond my reach. You are safer moving with me than standing still without trust. Let go of the idea that you must feel completely confident before you act. Confidence grows through obedience. Peace deepens through trust. Clarity sharpens through movement. The path becomes clearer as you walk it, not before. My beloved child, this step forward is not about proving anything. It is about honoring what has been awakened within you. It is about saying yes to growth, yes to healing, yes to the life I am unfolding before you. You do not need to announce it. You do not need to justify it. Simply take the step. And if these words are stirring something deep within you, do not keep this moment hidden. Hype this video so it can reach others who are standing at their own turning point. Bless this message with a like so it can travel further than this moment. Share it with someone who needs courage to step forward today. And subscribe to this space so you can continue walking with these reminders that you are guided, supported, and never alone. Stay with me, my beloved child. This step is not the end of your journey. It is the beginning of a new way of walking, lighter, freer, and aligned with the peace I have been preparing you for. My beloved child, as you step forward in obedience, know that your support becomes a bridge for others to do the same. When you give through Super Thanks, membership, or PayPal, you are sowing seeds that open doors for hearts still searching for their way out. I speak this over you now. What you release in faith will return multiplied, flowing like living water into every area of your life. I am calling you in this moment. Do not delay what your spirit feels stirred to do. The PayPal link waits for you in the description and in the QR code on this video. I bless your giving as a prophetic act that carries my light into dark places. Act now, and let your obedience, become a harvest of hope for many. My beloved child, I know one of your deepest fears is not failure itself, but falling with no one to catch you. You have learned through experience how painful it feels to lose your footing when support disappears. You remember moments when you tried, when you reached, when you trusted, and the ground beneath you felt unstable. That memory has shaped the way you move now. It has made you cautious, alert, and hesitant to step fully forward. To let me speak clearly into that fear, not softly, not vaguely, but with certainty. I will not let you fall. This does not mean the path ahead will feel effortless. It does not mean you will never stumble or hesitate. It means that even if your step shakes, you will not be abandoned. Falling does not equal destruction when you are held. A stumble does not erase purpose when grace surrounds you. You are not walking alone on unstable ground. You are walking with me. You have been afraid that one wrong decision could undo everything. That fear has followed you quietly, making every choice feel heavy, every opportunity feel risky. You replay possibilities, imagining how quickly things could go wrong. But hear me now, my child. Your life is not as fragile as you believe. What I am building in you is not so weak that it can be destroyed by one imperfect step. You are not walking on a narrow edge where a single misstep ends everything. You are walking on a path designed for learning, growth, and adjustment. I do not expect perfection from you. I expect honesty, willingness, and trust. I am not standing at a distance evaluating your performance. I am walking close enough to steady you when you lean. My beloved child, your fear of falling did not come from nowhere. It was formed in moments when support failed you, when you reached out and were misunderstood, when mistakes were met with shame instead of patience, when vulnerability cost you safety. Those experiences taught you to protect yourself, to hold back, to rely only on what you could control. I understand that instinct, but I want you to know this clearly. I am not like those who let you fall. I do not withdraw when you struggle. I do not step back when you hesitate. I do not grow distant when you question yourself. My presence does not depend on your confidence. My grip does not loosen when your faith wavers. I remain steady and close, especially in moments when you feel unsure. You think falling would mean failure. But I tell you this, my child. Falling is not the enemy. Fear of falling is. Fear convinces you to stay frozen, to avoid movement, to remain in places that no longer give life. But stagnation slowly drains your spirit. Growth requires movement, and movement invites grace to meet you in real time. I am not asking you to trust your own strength. I am asking you to trust my faithfulness. Your safety is not found in flawless decisions. It is found in my presence. Even when you feel weak, I am strong enough to hold you. Even when your steps feel uncertain, my guidance remains steady. There will be moments ahead when doubt returns. Moments when old fears whisper that you are not capable, not ready, not steady enough to continue. When that happens, remember this truth. I am closer than your fear. I am more constant than your doubt. I am not surprised by your humanity. You do not need to walk flawlessly. You are invited to walk honestly. Bring your uncertainty with you. Bring your trembling with you. Do not hide it. I do not require confidence before I offer support. I meet you exactly where you are. My beloved child, I have already carried you through seasons that should have overwhelmed you. I sustained you when you felt empty. I protected you when you did not even know danger was near. I steadied you when you were unaware you were being guided. Do you think I will let you fall now when you are learning to trust me more deeply? No step taken with me is wasted. Even detours serve purpose. Even pauses carry meaning. Even moments of weakness become places where my strength is revealed most clearly. I do not measure your journey by speed or perfection. I measure it by your willingness to stay with me, to walk forward without the constant fear of collapse. Walk knowing you are supported. Walk knowing you are guided. Walk knowing that if you stumble, you will rise again, not alone, not ashamed, but strengthened by grace. Stay with me, my beloved child. I will not let you fall, and together we will continue forward, steady and secure, one step at a time. My beloved child, I want you to hear this with your whole heart, not just your ears. Your story is not over. I know there are days when it feels finished, when the pain has convinced you that the best chapters are behind you. You look at what has already happened and assume it defines what is still possible. You measure your future by what has been lost, by what did not work, by who walked away, by doors that closed without explanation. But I am speaking to you now to correct that belief gently and firmly. Your story is not over. Endings have a way of pretending to be conclusions. They arrive with finality, with silence, with a sense of this is it. And because they hurt, you believe them. You believe the loss had the final word. You believe the mistake rewrote everything. You believe the delay meant denial. But I have never allowed pain to be the author of your life. I am still writing. My beloved child, there is more ahead of you than you can currently imagine. Not because life will suddenly become easy, but because purpose does not expire when circumstances change. What I placed within you did not disappear when things fell apart. Your calling was not canceled by disappointment. Your worth was not erased by failure. You are still becoming. I know you sometimes feel tired of hoping. Hope feels risky after heartbreak. It feels foolish after waiting. It feels dangerous after disappointment. So you learn to protect yourself by expecting less, by preparing for the worst, by telling yourself you are finished dreaming. But that protective numbness has also muted your joy. It has kept you safe, but it has kept you small. I am not asking you to force optimism. I am asking you to release the lie that this is all there is. You are not stuck in the final chapter. You are in the middle of transformation, even if the process feels slow and unclear. Look at how much you have already grown. Look at the wisdom you carry now. Look at the compassion you offer others. Look at the discernment you have gained. These are not signs of an ending. They are signs of preparation. I do not prepare my children for nothing. My beloved child, there are conversations you have not yet had, opportunities you have not yet seen, connections you have not yet made. There are moments of peace waiting for you that will not resemble the pain you remember. There are joys ahead that will surprise you, not because they erase the past, but because they redeem it. You fear that starting again will reopen old wounds. But healing does not mean pretending nothing happened. Healing means allowing life to continue without being ruled by what hurt you. I am not asking you to forget the past. I am asking you not to let it decide your future. Your story includes chapters of loss, yes, but it also includes chapters of restoration, clarity, and quiet joy. You cannot see them yet because you are standing inside the current page. But trust me, my child, the pages ahead are not empty. They are waiting to be written. There were times you thought giving up would bring relief. Times when continuing felt harder than stopping. But something within you kept going, even faintly. That something was not stubbornness. It was purpose. It was life refusing to end where pain wanted it to stop. I want you to release the idea that you missed your moment. There is no expiration date on becoming who you were created to be. I work outside of timelines, expectations, and comparisons. What is meant for you will meet you when you are ready to receive it. My beloved child, do not bury your future because of past wounds. Do not assume the best is gone because something ended. I specialize in new beginnings that rise from places that looked finished. I bring life where you expected only aftermath. Stay with me. Keep walking. Keep listening. Keep breathing. Your story is still unfolding, and what is coming carries more purpose, more peace, and more depth than you ever thought possible. Your story is not over. My beloved child, there is something I need you to release if you are going to walk freely into what lies ahead. You have been holding on to things that are quietly draining you. Not always loudly, not always obviously, but steadily. Thoughts that replay. Attachments that weigh on you. Habits of thinking that keep your spirit tired. You tell yourself you can manage them, that you can carry them a little longer, but I see how much they are costing you. Let go of what is draining you. This is not a command spoken in harshness. It is an invitation spoken in care. I am not asking you to abandon responsibility or ignore what matters. I am asking you to discern what is life-giving and what is life-taking. Some things that once served you are now slowing you down. Some patterns that once protected you are now exhausting you. You have been holding on to certain worries as if they are necessary. You thought that if you stopped worrying, something bad would happen. But worry has not prevented pain. It has only stolen your peace in advance. It has kept your mind busy while your heart grew tired. I never asked you to carry tomorrow's fears today. There are also relationships, my child, that pull more from you than they pour into you. You give understanding, patience, and effort, hoping things will change. But some connections remain draining because they are no longer aligned with who you are becoming. Letting go does not always mean walking away completely. Sometimes it means changing how much access something has to your heart. You have also been carrying expectations that were never mine. Expectations placed on you by others. Expectations you placed on yourself because you believed you had to be everything for everyone. Those expectations have pushed you beyond healthy limits. They have convinced you that rest is selfish and boundaries are unloving. But I tell you this gently. Boundaries protect what matters. They do not destroy it. My beloved child, guilt has been one of the heaviest drains on your spirit. Guilt over what you could not fix. Guilt over what you did not know then. Guilt over choosing yourself when you were already empty. That guilt keeps you tethered to the past. It whispers that you must keep paying for mistakes that have already been forgiven. I am asking you to release it. Letting go is not forgetting. It is choosing not to live chained to what no longer has authority over you. You are not dishonoring the past by releasing its grip. You are honoring the growth that has taken place since then. You may be afraid that if you let go, you will lose control. But control has been draining you too. Constantly monitoring outcomes. Constantly adjusting to avoid discomfort. Constantly preparing for disappointment. That vigilance has left little room for joy. Trust creates space where control suffocates. My beloved child, you do not have to carry everything you have survived. Some things were meant to teach you, not stay with you. Some burdens were meant to shape you, not define you. You are allowed to put them down now. As you release what drains you, you may feel lighter and unfamiliar at the same time. That is because exhaustion had become familiar. Tension had become normal. But peace is your true state. Rest is not something you must earn after letting go. Rest is what meets you when you do. I am not asking you to release everything at once. Start with one thing. One thought you no longer need to replay. one expectation you no longer need to meet, one fear you no longer need to carry alone. Each release makes space, and in that space, I will place peace. My beloved child, what lies ahead requires energy, clarity, and openness. You cannot step fully into it while carrying what drains you. Letting go is not loss. It is preparation. It is trust. It is an act of faith that says, I believe there is more for me than this weight. Stay with me. I will show you what to release and when. I will not strip you of what you need. I will only remove what is holding you back. And as you let go, you will begin to feel life return, gently and steadily, to places that have been tired for far too long. My beloved child, I want to speak to the places in you that still ache when you remember what hurt you. Not the surface memories you share easily, but the deeper ones you rarely name. The moments that change how you see yourself. The experiences that taught you to guard your heart. The wounds you learned to live around instead of heal. I have not forgotten them, and I have not ignored their impact. I am rewriting what hurt you. You thought those painful chapters defined you. You believed they marked you permanently, shaping who you would always be. You adapted to survive them. You built defenses. You learned how not to feel too much, how not to expect too much, how not to hope too boldly. Those strategies kept you going, and I honor the strength it took to endure. But survival is not the end of your story. Healing does not mean pretending the pain never happened. Healing means allowing me to transform what wounded you into wisdom, compassion, and depth. I do not erase your past. I redeem it. I take what was meant to harm you and use it to strengthen you in ways nothing else could. My beloved child, trauma has a way of freezing moments in time. It traps emotions in your body. It convinces your mind that danger is always near. Even when the threat is gone, your heart stays alert, braced for impact. That constant vigilance has cost you rest, joy, and ease. I see how tiring that has been. I am not asking you to relive what hurt you. I am asking you to let me touch it gently. Healing is not forceful. It is patient. It unfolds at a pace your heart can bear. You do not need to open every door at once. You only need to trust me with one at a time. You have been afraid that if you let yourself heal, the pain might overwhelm you. But I am not bringing healing to expose you. I am bringing healing to free you. What was buried for survival can now be released for restoration. My beloved child, I am rewriting the meaning of what happened to you. What once taught you fear will now teach you discernment. What once caused shame will now cultivate empathy. What once broke your trust will now deepen your wisdom. The pain will no longer have the final word. It will become part of your testimony, not your identity. You are not damaged beyond repair. You are not permanently broken. You are not too complicated to be healed. I specialize in restoration. I take broken vessels and remake them, not into what they were before, but into something stronger, more beautiful, and more purposeful. There are parts of you that shut down long ago to survive. Joy you muted. Curiosity you silenced. Tenderness you buried. I am calling those parts back gently. Not all at once. Not forcefully. But faithfully. You are safe now in ways you were not then. My beloved child, healing does not make you weak. It makes you whole. It does not erase your resilience. It completes it. You do not lose strength by softening. You gain freedom. I know you sometimes feel frustrated that the pain still echoes, and certain triggers still sting, that certain memories still carry weight. Be patient with yourself. Healing is not linear. Progress is not measured by the absence of memory, but by the reduction of its power over you. As I rewrite what hurt you, you will notice subtle changes. You will respond instead of react. You will pause instead of panic. You will feel emotion without being consumed by it. These are signs of restoration taking root. My beloved child, the wounds that once defined your limits will soon mark your growth. They will no longer imprison you. They will inform you. They will no longer dictate your future. They will simply be part of the story I redeemed. Stay with me. I am gentle with your heart. I do not rush healing. I complete it. And as I continue rewriting what hurt you, you will begin to feel lighter, freer, and more whole than you ever thought possible. My beloved child, I need you to hear this clearly, because it speaks directly to the restlessness you have been feeling. You were never meant to stay where you are. Not in this emotional place. Not in this spiritual posture. Not in this season of merely surviving. What you are feeling inside is not impatience or ingratitude. It is calling. There is something within you that knows this place is temporary. Even when you tried to settle, something resisted. Even when you told yourself to accept it, your spirit felt unsettled. That discomfort was not meant to torment you. It was meant to move you. I designed you for growth, not stagnation. For movement, not confinement. You stayed longer than you wanted to because you are loyal. You endured because you are resilient. You tried to make peace with what was familiar because starting again felt exhausting. I see that. I honor the effort it took to remain when leaving felt risky. But now I am telling you gently and firmly, this is not where you remain. You were never meant to shrink to fit spaces that no longer nourish you. You were never meant to keep dimming your light so others would feel comfortable. You were never meant to stay in patterns that drain your spirit just because they are familiar. Familiar does not always mean safe. Sometimes it only means known. My beloved child, growth often begins with discomfort. When something inside you starts to press against old boundaries, it is not rebellion. It is expansion. You have been outgrowing this place quietly, and now your soul is asking for room to breathe. You feared that leaving would make you ungrateful. You feared that wanting more meant you were dissatisfied with what I gave you. But growth does not dishonor the past. It honors the work it did in you. You are allowed to move forward without guilt. I did not bring you this far to leave you half-formed. I did not awaken your heart only to keep you confined. There is more expression in you, more purpose, more peace waiting ahead. Staying where you are would slowly silence what I placed within you. You may not yet know where you are going. Uncertainty has frightened you. But staying somewhere simply because it is known will eventually cost you more than stepping into the unknown with me. Movement with me is always safer than stagnation without trust. My beloved child, I am not pushing you out harshly. I am inviting you forward lovingly. The stirring you feel is my voice saying, there is more. Not more pressure. Not more pain. More alignment. More life. More truth. You were never meant to stay in the mindset that told you to settle. You were never meant to remain in the version of yourself that only coped. You were meant to grow into who you are becoming now. And that requires movement. Let go of the fear that you will lose everything if you leave this place. You will not lose what is meant for you. You will only leave behind what can no longer follow you. What is truly yours will come with you. What is not will fall away naturally. My beloved child, you are not running away. You are responding. You are not abandoning responsibility. You are honoring calling. You are not being reckless. You are being obedient to the quiet truth rising within you. As you prepare to move, you may feel grief for what you are leaving behind. That is natural. You can love what was and still move forward. You can be grateful and still grow. These things do not cancel each other. Stay with me. I will not rush you, but I will not let you remain stuck. I will guide each step, steady each transition, and guard your heart as you move. You were never meant to stay here. You were meant to grow, to expand, to walk into what I have been preparing. And you are ready to begin moving. My beloved child, this is your turning point. Not because everything around you has suddenly changed, but because something within you has shifted. You can feel it, even if you cannot yet explain it. The way you are listening now is different. The way these words are landing in your heart is different. You are no longer just enduring. You are awakening. The turning point does not always announce itself with noise or drama. Sometimes it arrives quietly, like a deep knowing that you cannot return to who you were before. You may still stand in the same place, face the same circumstances, but inside, something has realigned. You are seeing more clearly. You are sensing truth more deeply. And once that happens, nothing remains the same. You have been waiting for permission to change, permission to choose differently, permission to let go of what no longer fits. But this moment is that permission. Not given by people, not granted by circumstances, given by truth finally settling in your spirit. My beloved child, turning points often feel uncomfortable because they dissolve illusions. You can no longer pretend something is working when it is not. You can no longer ignore what your soul has been whispering. What once felt tolerable now feels heavy. What once felt acceptable now feels misaligned. A discomfort is not failure. It is clarity. You are beginning to recognize patterns you once repeated unconsciously. You are seeing where fear guided your choices instead of trust. You are noticing how much energy you spent maintaining what was draining you. This awareness is not meant to shame you. It is meant to free you. You cannot change what you cannot see, and now you see. A turning point is not about sudden perfection. It is about honest direction. It is about choosing alignment over avoidance. It is about deciding that peace matters more than familiarity, and truth matters more than comfort. My beloved child, you have reached a place where going back would cost you more than moving forward. You cannot unknow what you now know. You cannot unfeel what hath been stirred. That is why this moment feels significant. Something irreversible has begun. You may still feel fear. That does not mean you are not ready. You may still have questions. That does not mean you are unprepared. Readiness is not the absence of uncertainty. It is the presence of willingness. I am not asking you to rush. Turning points are not sprints. They are pivots. And change in direction. A reorientation of the heart. From this moment forward, you will make choices with greater awareness. You will pause where you once reacted. You will listen where you once rushed. You will trust where you once tried to control. The turning point is not about what you do next. It is about who you are becoming now. You are becoming someone who honors their inner truth. Someone who no longer abandons themselves to keep peace. Someone who understands that obedience to me often requires courage. My beloved child, many people miss their turning point because they expect it to look dramatic. They wait for everything to collapse or everything to align perfectly. But your turning point arrived in stillness, in listening, in awareness. It arrived in this moment of recognition. From here, the path ahead will begin to make more sense. Not all at once, but step by step. You will notice that certain actions no longer tempt you. Certain patterns no longer satisfy you. Certain fears no longer hold the same power. That is growth. That is movement. Do not minimize this moment. Do not rush past it. Let it anchor you. Let it remind you that change does not begin when circumstances shift, but when truth is accepted. My beloved child, this turning point is sacred. It is the moment you stop betraying your own growth. It is the moment you choose to walk forward with awareness instead of habit. It is the moment alignment becomes more important than approval. Stay with me. From this turning point onward, you will not walk blindly. You will walk consciously, and that alone will transform the road ahead in ways you could never have imagined. My beloved child, this moment matters more than you realize. There are times when a window opens quietly, not with force, not with fear, but with invitation. This is one of those moments. What you have been sensing, what has been stirring within you, is not meant to be postponed indefinitely. There is a sacred urgency here, not the kind that creates panic, but the kind that calls for response. Respond while you still can. I am not saying this to frighten you. I am saying it because moments of clarity are gifts, and gifts are meant to be received. You have been given insight, awareness, and truth. You have felt something shift. That shift is not meant to be ignored or delayed until it fades back into familiarity. When light is given, movement is required. You have noticed how easy it would be to go back to old habits, old thinking, old ways of coping. Familiarity will always try to pull you back. It whispers that change can wait, that tomorrow is safer, that now is inconvenient. But tomorrow is not promised to carry the same clarity you have today. That is why this moment is precious. My beloved child, obedience is often quiet. It does not always announce itself with bold actions. Sometimes obedience is simply choosing not to turn away from what you now know. It is choosing to honor the truth rising in you, even when it feels uncomfortable. You have spent so much of your life reacting, surviving, adjusting to what others expected of you. Now you are being invited to respond intentionally. To choose alignment instead of avoidance. To move forward instead of circling back to what no longer fits. This is not about perfection. It is about responsiveness. You do not need to have every detail figured out. You only need to stay open and willing. When I speak, when I stir, when I reveal, it is because something is ready to move. My beloved child, do not underestimate how many others are standing at the same edge you are. Tired, surging, quietly hoping for a sign that they are not alone. What you are receiving right now is not meant to stop with you. Light multiplies when it is shared. If these words are stirring your spirit, if you feel seen, guided, or steadied, I ask you to act. Hype this video so it can reach hearts that are still waiting for their moment of clarity. Bless this message with a like so it can travel where you cannot go. Share it with someone who is standing at their own crossroads, unsure of what to do next. And subscribe to this space so you can remain connected to these moments of truth and guidance as they come. You see, my beloved child, responding is not only about your personal journey, it is also about impact. When you respond, others are strengthened. When you move, others find courage. When you say yes, even quietly, a ripple is created. Do not delay what has been awakened within you. Delayed obedience often turns into missed opportunity. Not because I withdraw, but because hearts grow numb when truth is ignored. Stay tender. Stay responsive. You are not being asked to run. You are being asked to walk with intention. To choose alignment today, not someday. To honor this moment while it is alive within you. And now, hear me as I speak to your generosity of spirit. My beloved child, What you are receiving here is a living stream, and streams are meant to flow, not stop. When you choose to support this work through Super Thanks, membership, or PayPal, you become part of the harvest I am gathering in hidden places. I am saying to you now, as you sow, so shall you reap, not as words on a page, but as a living promise. This is a prophetic moment. Do not ignore the stirring to act. The PayPal giving link is waiting for you in the description and in the QR code on this video. I bless your giving a seed that will return to you in peace, provision, and purpose. Act now, and let this message keep reaching souls who are still searching for their way out. My beloved child, I want to teach you how to recognize what is truly guiding you as you move forward, because you have spent so long listening to noise that clarity can feel unfamiliar. You have heard many voices: fear, expectation, memory, pressure, urgency, and each one has tried to claim authority over your next step. But there is a signal I placed within you long before confusion entered your life, long before fear learned how to speak so loudly. That signal is peace. Peace is not the absence of challenge. It is the presence of alignment. When something is meant for you, even if it stretches you, even if it asks for courage, even if it leads you into unfamiliar territory, there will be a quiet steadiness beneath it. Your thoughts may still ask questions. Your body may still feel alert. But deep within, there will be calm. That calm is not coincidence. It is my confirmation. You were taught to look for certainty before moving. You were taught to wait for guarantees, prove that nothing will go wrong. But certainty is rare, and guarantees do not teach trust. Peace is how I guide you. Peace does not shout. It does not rush you into panic or trap you in hesitation. It does not threaten you with consequences or pressure you with urgency. Peace invites you to move gently, intentionally, and with awareness. My beloved child, begin to notice how your inner world responds when you consider your next step. Fear tightened your chest and narrowed your thinking. Pressure makes you feel rushed, as if you must decide now or lose everything. But peace creates space. It allows you to breathe. It allows you to consider without panic. Even when the decision is serious, peace remains steady, like a deep current beneath the surface of the water. You assume peace would come only after everything was resolved, after every answer was clear. But peace often arrives before resolution, not after. It comes as reassurance, not explanation. It tells you that you are not walking alone, that you are being guided, that you are held even while details unfold slowly. You have felt this peace before, even if only briefly. Moments when something simply felt right, even though it did not yet make sense. Moments when you chose trust instead of control and felt lighter, not heavier. Those moments were not emotional accidents. They were confirmation. They were my spirit affirming direction without demanding certainty. My beloved child, anxiety demands immediate answers. Peace allows patience. Anxiety rushes you toward conclusions, convincing you that waiting is dangerous. Peace invites reflection and discernment. Anxiety isolates you inside your thoughts. Peace draws you closer to me. Learn to recognize which voice you are listening to, because they produce very different fruits. You are not meant to live constantly on edge, always questioning yourself, always bracing for the worst. That state is not wisdom. It is exhaustion. Discernment feels grounded. It feels attentive, not frantic. It feels stable, not volatile. It does not drain you. It steadies you. As you continue forward, you will encounter choices that look right on the surface but leave you unsettled inside. Pay attention to that unease. You will also encounter choices that stretch you, that require courage, yet carry peace beneath the fear. Trust that peace. I am not confusing you. I am training your awareness. My beloved child, peace does not mean the absence of resistance. It means resistance no longer rules you. Peace gives you the ability to move forward without abandoning yourself. It allows you to say yes without losing who you are. It keeps your heart aligned even when your path requires bravery. You may feel tempted to override peace to meet expectations, to please others, or to avoid discomfort. But every time you ignore peace, you carry the cost later. Every time you honor peace, you strengthen your ability to walk in alignment. Peace becomes clearer the more you trust it. I am not asking you to rush into decisions. I am asking you to wait until peace settles before acting. And when it does, move forward without second guessing. Peace is not fragile. It will remain with you as you walk, guiding your pace, steadying your heart. My beloved child, peace is your confirmation. Not excitement, not pressure, not fear. Peace. Learn to listen for it. Learn to protect it. Learn to follow it. And as you do, your steps will become clearer, your heart lighter, and your path steadier with every move you make alongside me. My beloved child, now I invite you to imagine something with me. Not as fantasy, not as wishful thinking, but as a gentle truth unfolding. Imagine standing before a door you once feared. A door you avoided because you thought you were not ready, not strong enough, not certain enough. The door is open now, and I am not standing behind you urging you forward. I am standing beside you, ready to walk through it with you. Walk through the door with me. You have spent so much time believing that freedom required courage you did not have, strength you could not find, where certainty you were missing. But freedom does not begin with confidence. It begins with companionship. You are not being asked to step into the unknown alone. You are being asked to step forward with me. The door before you does not lead to chaos. It leads to space. Space to breathe. Space to grow. Space to become who you are without carrying what no longer belongs to you. You feared that stepping through would mean losing control, losing safety, losing familiarity. But what you are truly leaving behind is weight, not security. My beloved child, thresholds always feel intimidating. Standing still feels safer because it is known. Movement feels risky because it requires trust. But staying where you are has already cost you peace. Remaining at the threshold has kept you tense, watching, waiting, wondering. Walking through allows movement to replace fear. As we step together, notice how the ground feels beneath you. It is steady. You are not falling into emptiness. You are not stepping into confusion. You are stepping into alignment. The ground holds because I prepared it. The path opens because I am guiding you. You do not need to see how far the path goes. You only need to take the step that is in front of you. I will not reveal everything at once. Not to overwhelm you. Not to test you. But to keep you close, attentive and present. We walk step by step because relationship grows there. My beloved child, walking with me does not mean the absence of challenge. It means the absence of abandonment. You will still learn. You will still adjust. You will still grow. But you will not do it alone. When questions arise, I will meet you there. When fear resurfaces, I will steady you. When doubt whispers, I will remind you who you are. You have spent years trying to walk ahead of me or behind me, rushing to control outcomes or lagging behind in hesitation. Now I am inviting you to walk with me, matching pace, staying present, listening as you move. Walking with me requires trust, yes, but it also brings rest. You no longer have to scan constantly for danger. You no longer have to predict every outcome. You no longer have to carry responsibility that does not belong to you. You can walk and listen, walk and learn, walk and breathe. My beloved child, do not look back at the door once you step through. Not because the past was meaningless, but because it has completed its work. Looking back will only pull you out of the present moment where guidance is given. Honor what was, but do not return to it. There may be moments when you hesitate again. Moments when old fears resurface and tell you that you moved too soon or trusted too much. When that happens, remember this moment. Remember that you did not walk through alone. Remember that I am still beside you. I will teach you as you go. I will correct gently. I will encourage faithfully. I will not shame you for learning. Every step you take with me builds confidence, not because you feel stronger, but because you feel supported. My beloved child, walking through this door is not the end of your journey. It is the beginning of walking differently, lighter, freer, more aware, more aligned. You are not leaving yourself behind. You are finding yourself. Stay with me. Keep walking. Do not rush. Do not retreat. Just walk. And with every step we take together, you will discover that what once felt frightening is now filled with peace, because you are no longer walking alone. My beloved child, as we walk together now, I want you to release another quiet fear you have been carrying. You have been telling yourself that once you step forward, you must already know everything, that you must have the full plan, the full map, the full understanding before you are allowed to continue. That belief has made you hesitate, because you are afraid of getting lost, afraid of making the wrong turn, afraid of discovering that you were not prepared enough. But hear me gently and clearly. I will teach you as you go. You are not required to arrive with complete understanding. You are not expected to master what has not yet been revealed. Growth does not happen by knowing everything in advance. It happens by learning in motion, by listening while walking, by trusting enough to take the next step even when the rest is still hidden. You learn somewhere that mistakes mean failure. That misunderstanding has made you cautious, careful to the point of exhaustion. You thought wisdom meant never needing correction. But true wisdom is teachable. It remains open. It allows itself to be guided. My beloved child, I am not handing you a finished script and demanding perfect execution. I am walking with you, speaking as you move, adjusting as you learn, guiding you moment by moment. When you need clarity, it will come. When you need strength, it will rise. When you need rest, I will slow the pace. You are not behind because you do not know what comes next. You are exactly where you should be. Students do not arrive already taught. Children do not walk already knowing the road. They learn because they are accompanied. That is how I lead you. There will be moments when you pause and think, I don't know how to handle this. That is not a problem. That is an invitation. An invitation to listen. An invitation to lean closer. An invitation to trust that I am still speaking even when you feel uncertain. You may feel frustrated with yourself at times, wishing you were more confident, more decisive, more sure. But confidence grows through experience, not before it. Clarity deepens through obedience, not avoidance. You are learning something valuable now: how to move without panic, how to adjust without shame, how to trust without controlling. My beloved child, I do not shame you when you misunderstand. I do not withdraw when you hesitate. I do not scold you for asking questions. I teach patiently, consistently, and lovingly. Correction from me is not punishment. It is protection. Guidance is not criticism. It is care. As you walk, you will notice something changing within you. You will begin to recognize my voice more easily. You will start to sense direction without anxiety. You will learn when to pause and when to proceed. This discernment is formed through relationship, not pressure. I know you worry about making the wrong choice and having to live with it forever. But no sincere step taken with me traps you. I can redirect you. I can refine you. I can restore what needs healing. Your future is not one fragile decision away from collapse. It is held securely in my hands. My beloved child, give yourself permission to learn. Give yourself grace to grow. You are not expected to be finished. You are expected to be willing. Willing to listen. Willing to adjust. Willing to trust that I am involved in every part of the process. I will show you what matters when it matters. I will not overwhelm you with information you do not yet need. I will not remain silent when guidance is required. Stay attentive, not anxious. Stay open, not afraid. There is freedom in knowing you do not have to know everything. There is peace in understanding that you are being taught along the way. Each step you take builds awareness. Each moment you listen deepens trust. Stay with me, my beloved child. Walk without rushing. Learn without fear. Trust without demanding certainty. I am with you, teaching you gently as you go, ensuring that every lesson serves your growth, every correction protects your heart, and every step leads you forward with peace. My beloved child, I want to lift your eyes now, not to rush you forward, but to help you see beyond the weight of where you have been standing. What awaits you is greater than what you have endured. Not louder, not more dramatic, but deeper, steadier, and more life-giving than you imagined while you were surviving. You once believed that the best parts of life were behind you. You thought joy had an age, a season, a deadline you somehow missed. Pain convinced you that what comes next must always be smaller, quieter, more limited than what was lost. But pain is not a prophet. It cannot see what I am preparing. What awaits you is not a return to who you used to be. It is an arrival into who you are becoming. You are not going backward to reclaim something broken. You are moving forward into something refined. The future I am opening to you is shaped by wisdom you did not have before, compassion you earned through struggle, and discernment you gained through endurance. My beloved child, what awaits you includes peace that does not disappear when circumstances shift. It includes relationships that feel safe instead of draining. It includes purpose that aligns with who you truly are, not who you felt pressured to be. It includes moments of joy that do not demand perfection to exist. You feared that growth would cost you everything familiar. In truth, it will only cost you what no longer fits. What is meant for you will feel like expansion, not strain. It will challenge you, yes, but it will not crush you. It will invite you forward, not trap you in fear. I know you sometimes imagine the future cautiously, preparing yourself not to be disappointed again. You lower expectations to protect your heart. You tell yourself not to hope too much. But hear me gently now. Guarding your heart does not require closing it. Wisdom does not demand numbness. You are allowed to hope again, this time with discernment instead of fear. What awaits you is greater because you are greater now. Not in pride, but in depth. You can hold more truth. You can recognize alignment faster. You can walk away from what drains you without losing yourself. that growth changes everything. My beloved child, the future ahead of you will not erase the past. It will redeem it. You will recognize moments where you say, "Now I understand why that happened." Not because the pain was good, but because it was not wasted. You will see how every delay shaped you, how every ending redirected you, how every season of waiting strengthened you for what you are now able to carry. You are stepping into a life that is more honest, more intentional, more grounded. A life where you no longer abandon yourself to keep peace. A life where you listen before you rush. A life where you walk with me instead of ahead of me or behind me. There will still be challenges. I will not pretend otherwise. But they will not define you the way they once did. You will meet them with steadiness instead of panic, with prayer instead of pressure, with trust instead of control. That is growth. That is maturity. That is peace. My beloved child, do not minimize what is coming because you cannot see it clearly yet. Seeds grow underground long before they break the surface. Just because you cannot yet see the full picture does not mean nothing is happening. Something is unfolding quietly, intentionally, and in perfect timing. What awaits you is greater because it aligns with who you are becoming, not who you were forced to be. It fits the version of you that has healed, learned, and chosen trust. It honors the strength you built in silence and the faith you practiced when no one was watching. Stay with me. Keep walking. Keep listening. You do not need to chase the future. It is meeting you as you move in alignment. And when you finally look back one day, you will see clearly that what awaited you was not just better circumstances, but a better way of living, rooted in peace, guided by trust, and filled with a quiet joy that endures. My beloved child, before we come to the final moment of this journey together, I want you to receive one last invitation that will carry you far beyond these words. Stay with me. Not only while you are listening now, not only while your heart feels stirred or comforted, but stay with me as you return to your days, your choices, your questions, and your quiet moments when no one else is watching. You have learned how to survive on your own. You learned how to push forward when support was absent, how to adapt when answers were unclear, how to endure when rest felt impossible. That independence helped you through seasons that were heavy and demanding. I honor the strength it took to keep going. But survival was never meant to be your final destination. Relationship is. Staying with me does not mean withdrawing from the world or escaping responsibility. It means remaining aware that you are not carrying life alone. It means remembering that you can pause instead of panic, listen instead of react, breathe instead of brace yourself. It means allowing my presence to shape how you move through ordinary moments, not just crisis moments. You may think that staying with me requires constant attention, perfect faith, or unwavering focus. It does not. Staying with me is about returning your attention when it drifts, returning your heart when it tightens with fear, returning your trust when doubt tries to take control. Every return matters. None of them are too small or insignificant. My beloved child, there will be days ahead when you feel clear, confident, and strong. There will also be days when uncertainty creeps back in, when old fears whisper again, when fatigue clouds your thoughts. Do not be discouraged by this. Growth is not a straight line. Progress does not mean never struggling again. Even on those days, stay with me. Do not interpret struggle as separation. Do not interpret questions as failure. Do not interpret weakness as distance. I am not offended by your humanity. I am not impatient with your process. I remain near, steady, and attentive even when you feel unsure. When you stay with me, You begin to notice changes that are subtle but powerful. You listen more carefully before making decisions. You respond instead of reacting. You recognize when it is time to rest instead of pushing until exhaustion forces you to stop. Staying with me reshapes your life quietly, not through pressure, but through presence. You will notice that staying with me also changes how you speak to yourself. The harsh inner voice softens. The need to prove yourself fades. You stop measuring your worth by productivity or approval. You become more honest with your needs and more patient with your growth. This is not weakness. This is healing. My beloved child, staying with me sharpens discernment. You begin to sense what brings peace and what steals it. You become quicker to release what drains you. You gain courage to choose alignment over familiarity. This clarity does not come from effort or striving. It comes from closeness. There will be moments when the world grows loud again, when urgency tries to rush you back into old habits, when comparison tempts you to doubt your pace or your path. In those moments, stay with me. Let my voice be the one you return to. Let my presence steady you when everything else feels unsteady. You are not required to do this perfectly. You are not expected to never drift. Even when you drift, I remain. Staying with me is not about never leaving. It is about always knowing where home is. It is about remembering that you are welcome to return again and again without fear or shame. My beloved child, the way out I revealed to you was never a single decision or a dramatic escape. It was a way of living, a way of listening, a way of trusting. Staying with me is how that way continues to unfold long after these words end. As you move forward, carry this truth with you. You are not alone in your thoughts. You are not unsupported in your choices. You are not unseen in your effort. Stay with me, and you will continue to find peace where there was pressure, clarity where there was confusion, and strength where there was weariness. We are not rushing toward an ending. We are stepping into continuation. And I am with you, always, guiding you gently, holding you steadily, and loving you through every step that still lies ahead. My beloved child, we have come to the closing of these words, but not to the end of what has been awakened within you. What you felt stirring as you listened was not temporary emotion. It was recognition. Recognition that you are not trapped. Recognition that you are not forgotten. Recognition that there has always been a way out, and now you see it clearly. The way out was never panic. It was never running. It was never forcing doors or exhausting yourself trying to earn peace. The way out was trust. Trust that you are seen. Trust that you are guided. Trust that you are held even when the path feels unfamiliar. The way out was learning to walk with me instead of ahead of me or away from me. You came here feeling pressed by time, by fear, by the weight of decisions you did not know how to make. You thought you had only a few minutes left before something collapsed. But what you were truly running out of was the strength to do everything alone. And that is where I met you. Not to condemn you, not to rush you, but to reveal that you were never meant to carry this by yourself. My beloved child, remember what you have learned here. You are not late. I am not late. You are not weak. You are becoming wise. You are not stuck. You are standing at a doorway that opens with trust, peace, and obedience. You are not losing your life. You are reclaiming it. There will be moments after this when doubt tries to return, when old habits whisper again, when fear asks if this clarity will last. In those moments, return to what you know now. Return to peace. Return to stillness. Return to me. You do not need to hear everything again to keep walking. You only need to remember who is walking with you. My beloved child, I bless your steps from this moment forward. I bless your mind with clarity where there was confusion. I bless your heart with peace where there was heaviness. I bless your body with rest where there was exhaustion. I bless your future with alignment instead of anxiety, with purpose instead of pressure, with quiet joy instead of constant strain. I declare that the doors you once feared will open at the right time. I declare that the weight you released will not return. I declare that what hurt you will no longer rule you. I declare that you will walk forward with discernment, not fear, with trust, not control, with confidence rooted in my presence. You are not stepping into darkness. You are stepping into guidance. You are not leaving safety. You are entering it. You are not alone. You never were. Stay with me, my beloved child. Walk with me. Listen for me. Rest in me. Way out has been revealed, and the path ahead is steady, peaceful, and prepared. Amen. My beloved child, as these words seal in your spirit, I speak to your desire to help others find the same way out. What you give now is not money, it is seed, and seed always carries harvest. I am saying to you in this moment, this is your invitation to release light into lives you may never meet. When you support this mission through Super Thanks, membership, or PayPal, you become a vessel through which hope flows to weary souls. The PayPal giving link is waiting for you in the description and in the QR code on this video. Do not delay obedience when your heart is stirred. I bless your giving as oil that will never run dry and provision that will meet you at the right time. Give now, and let this message continue reaching those who are desperate for their way out.